Post-combine rumors featuring Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., and teams that want to trade up for the number one pick. How we doing, Bears fans? The NFL Combine is over, and we have some news to discuss this morning. Albert Breer released a great article on Sports Illustrated's website addressing rumors from the NFL Combine. The main topics of interest for Bears fans were the two teams he mentioned really wanted to trade up for a QB, and some news on Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's get right into it. First, there are two teams that were mentioned to be looking to trade up for a QB, and those were the Raiders and the Giants. Both are heavily rumored to be interested in trading up for a quarterback. It doesn't mean they have to come up to number one overall. They could also be trying to get to number 2 or number 3, but I do not see the Commanders trading down. I do think it is possible the Patriots could, especially if they landed a quarterback in free agency. But I think the Giants really make a lot of sense to come up to number 1. Moving up to number 1 would probably cost them 3 first-round picks and more, but it makes sense. The Giants and coach Brian Daboll want to get his quarterback. They're currently stuck with Daniel Jones for one more year, but with the number 6 pick, they're in a range where they can't get a top 3 quarterback, but they aren't that far away and could trade up. They're in a prime position to move up and get a QB if they really want to. The Raiders are much farther down in the draft and would have to pay a lot more. The real question is whether or not the Giants are willing to meet Ryan Poles' historic trade demands. That remains to be seen. But there was another interesting tidbit with the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. Breer reported that the Bears wanted an early workout with Caleb. They tried to schedule a private workout for Tuesday, which is tomorrow. According to the article I will link in the description below, Williams' team declined that meeting and instead will meet with the Bears after his pro day on March 20th, sometime in the next 3 days. This was very interesting to me. I've never heard of a team trying to get a private workout with a player just 2 days after the combine. This leads me to believe that Poles is very interested in Caleb Williams and wants to get to know him better before making a decision on Justin Fields. They wanted to get another meeting out of the way, and then they would have had a week until free agency to decide on Fields. With that meeting now not taking place until later this month, it kind of puts the Bears in an awkward position. If they aren't fully comfortable with Caleb Williams yet, it makes trading Justin Fields a gamble. Ryan Poles has 5 other guys that met Caleb Williams with him. It was Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, Shane Waldron, Thomas Brown, who's our offensive passing game coordinator, Ian Cunningham, and Kevin Warren. I was a bit surprised to see Kevin Warren included, but it makes sense. What the Bears wanted to do was get a real private workout in with Caleb Williams, get his medicals, and get to know him better. They now can't do that until 10 days after free agency starts. Will this modify or change Ryan Poles' plans? I don't know. This is a unique situation that he finds himself in. I just want him to make the right decision. I don't care about being right or which direction he goes. I just want the Chicago Bears to win football games. Next up, we got some news on Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. He is choosing to not work out at the Combine or do a pro day this year. He came to the Combine, weighed in, did his medicals, and interviewed with 9 teams. But he did not take part in any on-field testing. Albert Breer reported that Marv asked teams if there was anything they need to see from him at a pro day, and they laughed at the notion and told him no. That's a really big point to this. Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't just goofing off or skipping events. He and his dad have a plan to get Marv ready for his rookie season. He doesn't need to waste time learning how to run a 40-yard dash. He's practicing his route running and conditioning his body for longer NFL seasons. And considering his dad's 13-year Hall of Fame career in the NFL, I trust him and his team to get Marv ready for the season. I'll also add this. I've never been a huge fan of some of the NFL Combine's methods. Some of the standardized testing that they do just doesn't really translate to the game of football, if you ask me. I never understood why guys have to get on all 4 before they run a 40-yard dash. It makes it more like a track thing and not a football thing. Why can't they start standing up like they do in the NFL on the line of scrimmage? Some of it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is in a very unique position where he wants to hit the ground running in the NFL. He's one of the most gifted prospects I've ever seen. And if NFL teams are telling him he doesn't need to do a pro day, then he doesn't need to do a pro day. Pair that with the experience and knowledge he gets from his dad, and I trust they are making the right decision for Marvin Harrison Jr.'s future, and he will be ready to go as a rookie. The Chicago Bears were one of the 9 teams that met with Marv, and reports were unanimously positive. Teams loved Marvin Harrison Jr. The other guy who had an incredible combine was Rome Odunze. He was one of the best receivers in the nation this year, and I already had him as my number 3 player on my big board, right behind Caleb Williams. A lot of people still think Neighbors is above him, but Odunze separated himself at the combine. With Neighbors not participating and choosing to not even weigh in, Rome Odunze separated himself as the number 2 receiver in this class. I think he goes top 5 in this draft. This class is just loaded. 2 stars really stand out on top with both Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. The Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles control this entire draft, and what he does with the number 1 pick sets the stage for the rest of the NFL. Also, there's been a lot of crazy comments revolving Caleb Williams recently. Anyone commenting that this is an anti-Caleb Williams channel? I don't know where anyone gets that from. I will always support whoever our quarterback is. Nothing is good enough for some people. I have Caleb Williams as my number 2 draft prospect in this entire draft class. I love the dude. I think he's an incredibly talented QB prospect. This draft class is stacked with players I love. From Rome Odunze, Jared Verse, Malik Neighbors, Keon Coleman, Tali Fuaga, Jackson Powers Johnson, to Troy Futanu, and so many more. I could go on and on. I love this draft class. And I have Caleb as my 2nd rated player in the entire draft. Just because I like one player better than him doesn't mean I'm hating on him. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is special. I'm just giving my opinion in that, and it's based on watching hundreds of hours of tape. I love engaging with you guys in the comments section, and I've never once gotten upset by a negative comment. I never mind when people disagree with me. All I ask is that you are respectful to others in the comments. I cannot wait until April, but we're only a week away from free agency. It's about to get crazy, guys. We should see some players around the NFL get franchise tagged starting today and ending tomorrow. I do expect JJ to get tagged. Hopefully Ryan Poles can work out a long-term deal with him before the July deadline. I appreciate everybody who watches the videos. I have so much more content on the way. Please hit that like button for me. Stay tuned. And until next time, bear down.